Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Legends of Tomorrow, episode 4, called White Knights. So let's start talking about this episode. Here we get to see that our team goes 10 years into the future where they were. So it's around 1980s, it's the height of the Cold War, and we see in the beginning of the episode our team goes into the Pentagon, and then they realize, oh no, we actually got to go to the Soviet Union. So they go to the Soviet Union, they find out, what the Soviet Union's doing, or at least the scientists from the Soviet Union, is actually building this firestorm project with Vandal Savage. So most of our team kind of gets stuck. We see that Professor Stein gets kidnapped, we have Heatwave that gets kidnapped, and Ray Palmer. So the rest of the team's like, hey, Rapunter, why didn't you tell us we could have saved our friends if you kind of commanded us a little bit better? But now Rip Hunter's like, yeah, but if we did these things, then all of you would have been captured. So now let's figure out how to get our team back and for the Soviet Union not to make a firestorm project and change history. Another part of the story, there's about 2 other subplots. One being Kendra trying to control her Shayera part of her identity, I guess. I don't know how to really describe it, but she kind of has her own bloodlust also, maybe because of the anger of losing Carter. And then also, of course, Sarah having a bloodlust, the actual bloodlust, and them kind of dealing with it together. Then the other part being Rip Hunter and the time traveler, Boba Fett type character, who is trying to convince Rip Hunter to not have this mission and stop with the whole Vandal Savage thing, which he actually does say, hey, maybe I should do this, but in the end he's like, no, my team, our legends, let's keep doing this. And that's pretty much what happens in the episode. And I will say this episode probably was the weakest out of all 4 of them, in my opinion. I usually actually like Cold War type stories. I think it's a very interesting time period. But here, I don't know if it was necessarily needed to have this adventure, and I think that's probably the biggest fault of Legends of Tomorrow, is the main plot has not been built up that much for us to care about Vandal Savage. Now, I personally care about the character because I know him in the comics, and also I really do like the actor and his charisma, but the plot itself in the story hasn't really developed him and why we should care, and not have as many I guess story progression towards, again, the main plot. And I think that really suffers here, because it's once again kind of this one-shot story of, let's go to a time period. Vandal Savage is kind of in it and doing stuff. Let's stop him. Oh no, we can't stop him. And it's kind of the same thing. It's already, the show's becoming a formula, and I don't want Legends of Tomorrow to be stuck in that. So that is definitely a negative towards this episode. But there are some fun character interactions here, which I think has been a positive for Legends of Tomorrow. Like the team up between Kendra and Sarah, which I really enjoyed, and really enjoyed the fighting skills there, in the fighting scenes there. And then, Rip Hunter kind of being a lousy leader, and that's always fun to see, and actually dealing with the time travel stuff, which another subplot I guess I don't care about as much, because they haven't built the Time Lords enough in the show, where I'm like, alright, I get the idea of them wanting to have history be the same and not having butterfly effects, but I want to care about that part of the story more also, and that this episode didn't really make me care for that. But yeah, going back to the characters, Captain Cold being awesome. I've actually really grown to like Captain Cold in the show. I didn't love him in Flash, but I'm liking him even more in Legends of Tomorrow, and his mind frame and his own rules, his rogue rules of saying, hey, we don't leave anyone behind. And he's starting to become a little bit of a hero too. Ray always shines, even though he has small moments in the episode. I feel like he always shines with everything he does. And then you have the emotional moments with Professor Stein and Jax, which I think that's another thing with this show that does really well, is their emotional scenes, and Stein has had a lot of those from last episode to this episode. I would say every episode he has a really good emotional moment. And this time it's with Jax. So overall, I don't really like that this is a 2-part episode. It does seem like they're going to continue the Soviet Union stuff, but happy to see this whole Firestorm project happening. I'm actually really excited what they do with that and kind of stretch the Firestorm mythology a little bit more. So that I'm excited about next episode. But I really do think they need to progress the Vandal Savage plot to make us care about that villain a bit more. And this episode was kind of another sidetrack to say, oh, let's do another fun or kind of a little bit darker episode for this. But, you know, another side plot. I feel like we care about these characters enough to kind of dig into the plot a little bit more. So yeah, this was kind of the weaker episode. I had fun with this episode, but I think I had more fun with some of the 70s stuff in the last 3 episodes. But we'll see where it goes, and hopefully the plot thickens and we get some good twists and turns with this show and it doesn't fall into a formula. So that's my opinion. Of course, I'll have a review for Legends of Tomorrow next week. And don't forget to check out the Legends of Tomorrow podcast, which I'm a part of. I'll have a link to that in the description. I'll be recording that right after this, and should be up tomorrow, which is Friday. So go check out the Legends of Tomorrow podcast if you want an even more in-depth conversation about the episode. So hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic and O. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links from my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later. Bye.